If someone is interested in going to the Naval Academy, you mentioned that you're part of the Blue and Gold officer,
Correct.
and many people might not understand what that is. So, can you kind of walk a listener who might have a son or daughter, or could be the son and daughter who's interested in going to a service academy, and the importance of Blue and Gold officers and coordinating with them if you want to spot it at one of the academies?
Well, definitely. Your Blue and Gold officer isn't going to make you or break you. However, they can mentor and coach you along the way to do the right things. Probably the best thing is to be thinking about it early. Don't wait till your last second, kind of like me a little bit. I was just fortunate because I had the good grades and all the activities and things like that. But the first thing I would say is it's kind of like three secrets. You want to have good board scores, SATs, ACTs, take them early, take them often. Well, that's true of any school. Then you want to have as high a class rank as possible. So I always tell kids, number 1 is great. Number 500, not so good. So you want to be really in that top 10 to 20% of your class at best. Really, it used to be 20%, but I even nowadays kind of push more people towards the top 10%. So you kind of have to start that as a freshman, because a lot of times we'll have students, they'll come up to us their junior year and they'll say, I really screwed around my first 2 years of high school, but I'm motivated. And it's like, it's tough to move that GPA up to, which corresponds to your class rank. But the third thing, and the thing that really probably sets you apart with the academy application versus normal regular schools, I shouldn't say normal schools, is that being involved with extracurricular activities that demonstrate leadership or have the potential to demonstrate leadership. Because if you're a freshman, and you're a freshman on the track team, you're probably not thinking of being the team captain yet. But if you have the passion to be, and you have the interest in that sport and you do well at that sport, then you're going to have those leadership opportunities as you grow, become your junior and senior year. Like for me, like I said, I was a band geek. I was in marching band. I ended up becoming a drum major of a 225 person marching band by my junior year. And then my senior year, I was the head drum major. That was my leadership experience, check mark, in the block for the Naval Academy. So we don't tell people what you have to do, but you have to do something, and as much as possible, and that will eventually allow you to demonstrate some leadership potential in those leadership positions in high school. And that's really what kind of sets the Naval Academy application apart from those other schools that aren't really maybe looking at quite those the leadership potential piece. Because obviously with the Naval Academy, we're looking for future leaders to lead young men and women, in our Navy and Marine Corps.
Okay. And if someone is interested in doing it, they also have to realize that they're going to need to go to either their congressman or senator. And that's another thing that they're going to want to start pretty early on, because that takes some time to go through that interview cycle as well. So I would probably, having gone through it myself, recommend that they start that process very early as well, because the more you can get to know either that senator staff or Congress member staff, the better opportunity you're going to have to make an impression.
Exactly. What we recommend folks do is, a lot of the congressional staffs now, they'll have a Congressional Academy Day. And in fact, for example, we just had one, don't want to get into politics too much, but Congressman Franklin here, actually Naval Academy class of 86, Scott Franklin, became the congressman in my district. So he actually had an Academy Day, just like the previous ones before him, where you could have 100 or 150 students show up to find out more about the academies across the board. Of course, he was probably the best congressman to ever speak at one of these, because since he was a Blue and Gold officer at one point, he really understood what was going on. So it was kind of nice to have someone with actually a retired military officer with Blue and Gold officer experience. But so those Congressional Academy Days, highly recommend a student go to them as a freshman, sophomore, and junior. And then they should formally contact the congressman or congresswoman's office probably about April, May of their junior year as they go into the senior year. And that's usually when the congressional offices start to start talking to the new students, because before that, they're still dealing with the ones that are graduating the year before. And just one misnomer I always have to say, you don't need to know your congressman or your senator or, vice president or the president if you're looking for those nominations as well. And everybody's eligible to apply for vice presidential nomination as well. It's really the staffs that put that together. So there really isn't this, kind of the old, maybe 50, 100 years ago, the good old boy network where, you have to know your congressman and that's the only way you're going to get into the Naval Academy. It's truly based on merit now. I mean, they're going to look at similar things that we look at. And then also, they're looking at other things, communities. Well, we're looking at community service too. So they're looking at a lot of things that we look at as well. However, they have usually a panel of maybe 3 to 10 people sitting on that panel for most of them. Some with academy experience, some with military experience, or just some with civilian experience. And they're asking all the questions about how they want to, why they want to go to the Naval Academy, why do they want to become an officer, and things like that. So it does benefit to get in early, specifically at the end of their junior year is probably the best time to formally engage.